Hello, and welcome to this next episode of Building an Effective Productivity System. Today we're thinking about goals. Why bother setting goals? How do you achieve your goals? And we're going to talk about something called the impossible list. So let's dive right in. Goals are something that, to a greater and lesser extent, we all have. Maybe it's nothing more than a vague hope of something that you want to achieve or do later down the line. Could be something that we would love to change about ourselves or our lifestyles. My goal, if you will, from today's video is to help us bring those ideas, those goals, into much clearer focus and to think about how to achieve them and then ask the question, what happens next? So where should your goals come from? There's a reason that this video follows on from the previous one that you can see linked above on vision and values. It's because your goals need to flow from your vision and your values. In order to have any hope of achieving your goals, your motivation needs to be a powerful one. The harder the goal, the more powerful your motivation needs to be. Now, not every single goal needs to be directly tied into that, but the point is, if it is tied to that, then your motivation, your why, will be very strong. But why bother setting goals? Why bother having them? That's a big question that many people ask. In reality, we all have some kind of goal or another. That vague sense we have as children of, when I grow up, I want to be, that's a form of a goal that we have. We go to university or college with a goal of getting a degree. We might also have goals like training to be an accountant or a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. These are all goals that we have. Then there's the kind of idle goals that we have that are often expressed in things like New Year's resolutions and the like. I want to lose weight. I want to drink less. I want to exercise more. Now, these are kind of desires, but they're still goals. But because they're just sort of vague longings that we have in our minds, it's hard to identify what it actually is we're trying to achieve. Some of us have had a much more concrete and intentional approach to a specific goal. Let me give you an example. Several decades ago, unfortunately several, I wanted to buy a Nintendo 64. Do you remember those? Buying the console, buying the N64, buying the games, that was my goal. I saved up all of my pocket money, made a conscious decision to not buy any more games for the Sega Mega Drive that I already had, and I worked out exactly how long it was going to take to save up enough money to buy the N64 and the games. A specific goal, a specific outcome, specific plan of action. Now, one of the key reasons that our goals, those idle longings I mentioned, seem so far off in the future and continue to seem far off in the future is because we're not serious enough about achieving them. The purpose of setting goals, therefore, is to take that idle longing and make it reality. Those goals, which are just vague longings, rarely come to fruition for two reasons. First, we don't really know what it is we're hoping to achieve. And second, we have no idea what we need to do in order to achieve it. We kind of just hope that one day everything will line up and we'll just be able to sort it out and tick it off the list there and then. That does happen. It is rare that that happens. But how do you set goals? That's the next question. Well, the first step is to work out what it is do you actually want to achieve. That list of idle longings, if you wrote them all down, could very well be hundreds of items long. Now, the reality of life is that we cannot achieve all of our hopes and dreams. It's just not possible in the time we have. And also, if you look down that list of idle longings and hopes that you might have, I bet you can find some that will immediately rule out others. They're mutually exclusive. You cannot have both. So the first step, work out what are your priorities. What is it that you actually want to achieve? Focus on those and let the rest go. The point for today is that in order to set goals, you need to be clear on what it is you actually want to achieve. And in a sense, that is the very first step in achieving your goals. So that's what we're going to move on to now. How do you achieve your goals? Beyond the focusing on the specific goals that you want to tackle, you also need to be very specific about what you want to achieve within that specific goal. I'm going to give you 3 examples to illustrate what I mean by this. Number 1, I'd like to be a writer. Well, okay, that's okay as a goal, but what do I mean by this? Am I a writer because I've written something and I've published it online? Am I a writer because somebody actually read that? Am I a writer because I've consistently blogged every week for 2 months or 3 months or a year? Am I a writer because I've self-published an ebook on Amazon? Am I a writer because a publisher has published one of my books? Am I a writer because that's what I do full time and I earn my living off of it? Now, I can't achieve that goal, I would like to be a writer, if I don't understand what that means and what it is going to look like to achieve it. Be specific. I would like to lose weight. Well, that's useless. I just sneezed a moment ago, so technically I am now lighter than I was, so I have lost weight. Is that what I mean? Have I achieved that goal? Well, no, obviously not. Now I want to travel the world. I don't know if you've ever said that. So I hopped on a plane. I sat on the plane for 51 hours straight whilst it circumnavigated the globe, including the minimum stopping time required for refuelling. I've travelled the world. Well, that's not what we mean, is it? So what do we mean? Do we mean visiting the major tourist locations on every continent or in every country? Or does it mean that there are some very specific places that you want to go to in your life? What does it mean to travel the world? Unless you can be specific about what you want to achieve and what it's going to look like when you've achieved it, then you're never going to get there. The next step to achieving any goal is identify what actions are needed to achieve it, to do so. In some ways, this is mostly going to be done by defining and completing sort of smaller projects that will take you towards achieving the goal, or possibly with changes to your habits and routines. You see, most of your goals take time to achieve: patience, action, consistency, and time. To take that example of losing weight, the formula for that at its core is really simple: eat less, move more. Either or both of those need to be done to the degree that it creates an energy deficit in your body, causing your body to turn its fat reserves to energy. Now, it is more complicated than that, I'm aware of it, but so get thinking. How do you want to do that? Do you want to take up running? Do you want to do the NHS's Couch to 5K running plan? Do you want to cut out sugar completely? Do you want to ban yourself from eating snacks through the day? Do you want to ban yourself from eating after dinner? Or maybe adopt some kind of a specific diet plan? Whatever it is, deciding the actionable steps to do it, creating the habits, creating the routines necessary, and then being consistent in maintaining them, that is the only way that you're going to achieve that goal. Suppose you want to switch careers, for example. That's your goal. Well, you might set up a project here. You want to research the qualifications, the experience, the skills that are necessary to get the job in the new career that you're looking for. Once you've educated yourself like this, then you might explore night courses or correspondence courses or other options, online courses for gaining those skills, qualifications, and experience. Until you define what actionable steps there are to move you forwards, then that goal is just going to continue to be a distant prospect way off in the far-flung future. I mentioned earlier that I have a problem with SMART goals, and I also mentioned something called the impossible list, or the what happens next. You see, when it comes to SMART goals, I love the first bit, that they need to be specific and measurable. Attainable is where I begin to have problems. You see, obviously some things are impossible, either because they're logically inconsistent or they deviate from the reality and the natural limitations of being a human being. They're completely impossible, so they're not attainable. Beyond that, given sufficient time and resources and focus, it is really quite hard to be certain what is and what isn't attainable. Most things could be. The problem is the cost. Not just the cost in terms of money and resource, but in all of the things that you need to sacrifice in order to achieve it. You see, that's where defining what's important to you comes into play. But the big issue with SMART goals is that last letter, T, time bound. I agree that having an expectation of when you will achieve something by is a helpful thing. Now, for many individual goals, it's essential. But a lot of us actually fail in the long term because of this. Let's take the old classic, I would like to lose weight. Now, let's make it specific. I would like to lose 2 stone, or 28 pounds if that's your preferred measurement. Let's make it, I would like to lose 28 pounds by my next birthday. And then you lay out the action steps needed to achieve that. But then what? You can't maintain the habits and the routines that have enabled you to lose weight, as you would then keep on losing weight after you've achieved that 28 pound loss. You can't take the hands off the tiller completely, as then you put it all back on. Now here, a time-bound goal is not enough. How about maybe then setting a goal of something like, I would like to achieve the target weight of X pounds by my next birthday, whilst I learn how to maintain that weight for the long term through healthier eating and exercise habits. You see, this transforms the goal from succeeding in a specific time frame to actually changing your lifestyle over the long term. And so here comes the killer question with all goal-setting exercises. What next? Once the goal's been achieved, there's often a short window, maybe 15, 20 minutes, where you feel amazing and elated. But after that, you don't really know what to do next. About a year ago, I think, I discovered the concept of the impossible list. Now, I quite like it. I saw it on something that Thomas Frank did, and he's got his own impossible list, which you can find on his website. Actually, it's on the College Info Geek website, not his website. And I really like this idea. The idea is that the list is impossible because every goal on it, once achieved, is superseded by the next goal that builds on it. The list is impossible because there's no endpoint. Now, I'm a little wary of this because the ever-expanding drive to be better and better and better and better, achieve more and more and more and more and more, can be very unhealthy. But with that caveat in mind, now, I'm not going to give you my list in full, but here's a few examples, and some of mine are actually borrowed from Thomas's list. So as you can see here, here's my impossible list. It's in Upnote, big surprise. So my current focus is on the list of things like run 5k, do 100 press-ups in one go, do 100 sit-ups in one go, self-publish a book, launch a regular YouTube show and release 10 videos. I've actually done that already. So I'm going to mark that as done. Release 50 videos. I've not done that yet, I don't think. I do have 250 YouTube subscribers, and I have got 100 Twitter followers. Then it goes into fitness and health goals. So my main goal here would be run a 5k, and then I've got do it in less than 25 minutes, which would then be followed by do it in less than 20 minutes. And then similar expansions on existing goals as you move down the list. And then I've got a few professional goals which are mostly related to my blog and content creation. Things like get 100,000 blog visits all time. Now that's a big one. Start a podcast. I've done that. Although I haven't got anything close to that yet. Self-publish a book. Not even thought about that yet, really. As I said, I've done that one. But I'm not up to 500 subscribers yet. This one is taken from Thomas's list. I like it. I've got over 100 Twitter followers, although most of them I think are bots. So that is a brief look at my impossible list. You see the idea. Every goal that you have then is superseded by another goal. So there you have it. Goals, how to set them, why bother setting them, and how to achieve them. Next time we're going to think about projects, start to look at that. Now, if you've liked this video and found it valuable, then please do hit the like button below. There's a subscribe button, which is going to be about here. So subscribe to the channel, and then check out these other 2 videos over here if you want to see more of my content. And we'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much for watching.